So welcome back to the Sawmill, friends. Finally, some decent weather here in Tennessee. No rain today. No rain actually for the next 5 days. That's a shocker, I tell you. We're getting so much rain here lately. Let me show you guys what we're working on today. We got a lot going on. You guys hang in there. And in case anybody's wondering, the Hatefulest Cat on YouTube is with us today. Hello, Mama. Say hello to all your fans. She could care less. So we were up here at the chicken house doing some work. I need to close in some gaps on the new roof up there. Let me show you what I'm talking about. See if I can climb up this ladder and film at the same time. All right, so right there we got the new roof that we put on when the old one got blown off there about 2 months ago. And I have a little bit of a gap right there between the metal and the 2x6s. We need to close up that gap and do it fast. So the reason is, that's a big enough gap right there for birds to get into and make a nest and bees and all that stuff. You don't want that. I didn't do that when we built this roof because we were kind of under a time constraint to get it done before it rained again. But we're gonna do it today. Shouldn't take too long. Famous last words, probably take me half the day. And I know, before the comments explode, the front of the chicken house looks terrible. I need to finish that siding and take off that siding right there because this right here used to be a door when this was a lumber kiln. I'll try to do that next week if it doesn't rain. It'll probably rain though. I'd say those weathermen would get it wrong. If you're gonna take a measurement, these don't have to be perfect, but I want them pretty close. My allergies are about to kill me today. Trees are blooming and spring is on its way, and I tell you what, so are my allergies. About time to get the allergy medicine out. 22 inches. All of them should be about the same. Yeah, 22. You guys help me remember that. 22 inches. Need to cut 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. Little Roby saw I keep in the garage. It does a decent job, but I think the battery's getting low. Just my luck. I should have known better not to come up here without a hammer. That one's a little tight. All right, guys, that looks pretty good. That solved that problem. Let's move on to something else. I've been putting this off long enough. It's time for the dreaded oil change. The first thing we need to do is drain the oil out, and luckily on this Yanmar engine, it does have a hose that goes down to the oil pan. I wish this was about 12 inches longer, but it's better than nothing. I may replace that one day. If it was a little bit longer, it would go straight down under the engine. But since it's so short, it does make a little bit of a mess. But it's better than draining it from right there on the side of the oil pan. That would be an even worse mess right there. So let's get that off and get the old oil out. All right, not too much of a mess right there. We'll let that drain for about half an hour. Come back and put some new oil in it. Also, we've got to do the filter. All right, guys. Got the filter done. Now I'm putting the oil back in it, and we will be ready to start sawing. In case you're wondering how often I do this, I never hit the maintenance mark on this diesel engine. I think every maybe 200 or 400 hours it calls for an oil change. I never hit that year round usually, so once a year I do this. So I think it's a good idea if you don't hit that interval to do this at least once a year. And it's not too expensive. I think I got, counting the filter, maybe $45 in this service here. That's not too bad. It's good for the engine. All right guys, got the oil change done. The cant hook and roll some of these cedars on. All right guys, it looks like we're going to be sawing Eastern Red Cedar for the next few days up here at the sawmill. This is just over 8 feet on the length. The diameter down here on the small end is about 14.5 inches. Got a lot of taper, that's why I put that toe board up down there. Down here it swells out pretty big to 25 inches, but a lot of that is right here toward the bottom where it's swelled out to the ground, and that's not even really an accurate measurement as far as that goes. If I was going to measure this large end, I'd probably call it about 17 inches or so. On cedars, they really do a good job at the base swelling out and getting a lot bigger at the bottom. And this one right here was cut pretty low to the ground. The reason you can tell that, by the large swell at the bottom. I'm going to be sawing this into 2x8s today, 1.5 inches on the thickness, but a true 8 inches on the width. We'll be making these into garden beds for the garden this year. I'm still going to do some row crops in the garden, but I've decided to do some raised beds in addition to that. So that's what we're going to do with these. I'll probably get a good number of 2x8s out of this. This is a good size log. So before we get started, friends, 3 quick things. Number 1, Joe Maine Silver Tip Turbo 7 on the sawmill today. If you want those blades, you want to try them out, give Joe a cell phone call. Give Joe's cell phone a call. That sounds a lot better. That phone number is down in the video description. Number 2, thanks to everybody on Patreon for supporting me here on the channel. I really appreciate it. And number 3, I'm wearing the t-shirts I've been talking about in the past few videos. This is the logo with the beard on it. Has a pocket, it's a short sleeve t-shirt. On the back it also has our logo as well. We got those over on Farm Focused right now for sale, and if you go pick one of those up, I'd really appreciate it. It supports us here on the channel and keeps these cameras rolling. There's links below to that as well as the Patreon site and Joe Maine's information. So that's all I got to say about that. And thanks to Logrite for sponsoring us here on the channel. Really appreciate that. So let's open up this cedar, guys, and see what it looks like. I think this will be a good one right here. All right, friends, here's something I don't usually do. I'll give you guys an idea of how much lumber comes out of a log. Right there is our 2x8s. I was able to get the full 8 inches on the width. I'm really happy about that. And there's 10 of those, 8 board feet per board, so that's 80 board feet. And here's the offcuts after the edging, probably another 4 board feet right there. So that looks like we've got about 84 board feet out of that log. That's pretty good on cedar, because not only is it a good yield, but the boards are nice and solid with no voids.